to the Kalos region, home of your new Pokémon adventure. An amazing new world to explore. A place where you will discover many new Pokémon. Introducing a new type of Pokémon, Fairy type. Sylveon is just one example of this 18th Pokémon type, which is super effective against Dragon-type Pokémon, adding a new twist to your battle strategies. Another new feature is Pokémon Ami, an exciting way to bond with your Pokémon. Feed, pet, and play with Pokémon to deepen the connection between you. Whether big or small, you can even copy your Pokémon's actions to make them happier. Get ready for the next evolution in Pokémon. Pokémon X and Pokémon Y. Coming worldwide, October 12th, 2013.
Wow, I mean, just wow, where am I supposed to start in regards to these two trailers that you just watched? There was so much new stuff unveiled, and it is just all great. For me, Pokemon X and Y is shaping up to be the best Pokemon game ever released, and hopefully it will live up to that expectation come October 12th, worldwide, Pokemon X and Y is released. So, yeah, just a little, about 4 months from now, exactly, actually, because this should be uploaded on the 12th, 4 months from now, Pokemon X and Y should be in your hands, maybe, if you have a 3DS. If not, start saving, because you will need a 3DS to play this game. And yeah, that is... where do I start? I mean, new Pokemon, obviously, that's sort of a given with it being a new generation, and we've already seen new Pokemon, but the trailer showed some new Pokemon. We also saw a new way to find wild Pokemon with Horde battles. Got a new type of battle altogether with Sky battles for Pokemon with Levitate and Flying-type Pokemon. Also got the Pokemon Ami, which is a way to develop a greater bond with your Pokemon, and I'll go into more detail about that soon, because it does remind me of a certain thing from a certain game. Well, 2 games actually. It reminds me of Nintendogs and Kingdom Hearts Dream Drop Distance with the Dream Eater sort of thing. And finally, I think something that people are sort of all hyped up about, and some are not so hyped about, the Fairy type. That's right, a new type of Pokemon has been unveiled. It is the Fairy type, and it is the 18th type of Pokemon. Just think about that, 18 Pokemon types. It doesn't feel like that much when you're playing the game, I'll tell you, because I never really think about it that way. But 18 types of Pokemon, that is crazy. And it's the Fairy type, which I've already said, but the Fairy type is gonna be cool, I think. At first, I know I may have mentioned that I was a little bit skeptical on whether I wanted a new type or not, but thinking about it now, the Fairy type is gonna be pretty cool. We've had 4 Pokemon confirmed as Fairy type, and that is Gardevoir, Marill, Sylveon, which types finally got revealed, by the way, it's Fairy type, and Jigglypuff. And I expect the evolutions of Marill and Jigglypuff to be made Fairy types too, so get those pretty much ready as Fairy types. But it changes the game a little bit in terms of battling. It changes the style, because from Generation 2, it has been very, very sort of linear, in my opinion. I mean, everything's pretty much been the same. I mean, there's no real change. It's just been, you know, all types, whatever. But this changes it, because the the fairy type is going to be super effective against different types, and it changed the mechanics, which is great because, as I said, it's been linear since Generation 2. It's all been the same, so this definitely gives it a drastic change that the Pokemon game, I won't say it needed, but to improve, it does make it a little bit better. Also, competitive battling is going to change. If you play Pokemon Showdown or Pokemon Online, or even if you just Wi-Fi battle properly, you're gonna have to change your style a bit because the new type. Well, maybe not change your style, but you're gonna have to think more because of the new types. With the new Fairy type being like a Pokemon, well, a type that can be super effective against dragons, and whatever types are weak, whatever types it's weak to, we don't know yet. But I mean, yeah, that's gonna have to make you change your game. It's gonna change the structure of the tiers at least. New Pokemon are gonna get moved up, and obviously new Pokemon are gonna be in certain areas. I mean, I expect a Azumarill to be an OU come Generation 6. I mean, Choice Band, huge power, Fairy type move for dragons, that's game over. I mean, yeah, it's gonna be pretty good. So, we see two new moves being used by Fairy types. We have Moonblast being used by Sylveon and a Haxorus, which is super effective. As I said, it's super effective against dragons. But we also see Gardevoir using a move called Fairy Wind on Hydreigon, which is super effective, but it doesn't quite kill, which makes me think, because Gardevoir does have decent special attack, it makes me think that the Fairy type is neutral to Dark type, but I feel the Dark type will be super effective against the Fairy type. We'll have to see, but because it didn't take it out, and I assume the Pokemon in the trailers aren't EV trained or anything, so yeah, I think they definitely, it may be neutral to Dark type, but I expect the Dark type to be super effective on Fairy, because as of right now, Dark type is only super effective against the Ghost type and the Psychic type, so it definitely needs like a little bit more to boost it up a bit, and I expect it to be super effective against Fairy. We also saw some other new Pokemon in the trailer, which was pretty cool. We saw Talonflame, which is the evolved form of Fletchling. It's a fire and flying type Pokemon, so yeah, Fletchling evolves from a normal and flying type into a fire flying type, which is pretty cool. Last one of those we saw was like Charizard and Moltres. I don't think there's been a fire flying type since then. If there has been, be sure to correct me, but I'm almost certain they were the only two like fire flying types in existence. We see two new Pokemon. No, well, we actually see more than two. We see like 4 or 5 new Pokemon. We see Skrelp, which is a poison and water type Pokemon. It's a seahorse. It uses the move Sludge Bomb, which is pretty cool. And yeah, that's pretty awesome. I mean, Skrelp, that's a nice name. And it's sort of like, I mean, don't Seadra and Horsey have like the ability Poison Point, so it sort of makes sense for an actual poison water type seahorse, I guess. Next up we have Clauncher, which is a water type Pokemon. It's shown using the move Crabhammer, which is pretty cool. So this is basically your Krabby, Kingler, your Crawdaunt, and Corphish, even though that's meant to be the other way around. It's Corphish, Crawdaunt, but yeah, that's basically, it's your little crab, but that's pretty cool. So Clauncher, the water type Pokemon. We also have other two Pokemon, which is Vivillon, and that is a butterfly, which is a flying and bug type, kind of like your Beautifly and your Butterfree. This thing uses the move Struggle Bug, which is pretty cool. And next up we have Noivern, which is a dragon and flying type, and it uses the move Boom Burst, which emits an explosive sound wave that damages all nearby Pokemon. So that's pretty cool. Noivern, which looks like a little bit like a bat at the top, but it's actually a dragon flying type, which is pretty awesome. And yeah, it's pretty much all the new Pokemon we've seen so far. So Skrelp, Clauncher, Vivillon, Noivern, and Talonflame were the new Pokemon unveiled. That's a really awesome name though, Talonflame. That is insane. That's an insane name. I really like that. Also, we got more stuff revealed in regards to being riding on Pokemon. So, say for example you're in a rocky terrain and the road is all broken up and you can't quite get there on your bike, well, that's where you can ride your Pokemon on. For example, Rhyhorn has been revealed to be a Pokemon you can ride upon, and it's meant to be used like that for in areas like a rocky terrain. If you can't reach a certain point because it's like broken up path, you can actually use your Rhyhorn to get across that and get you there. So that's pretty cool. That's a good mechanic. It's basically, I think it may be replacing the bike. I'm not sure. I don't think it is replacing the bike. I think they said if it's a place you can't quite get on your bike, then your Pokemon can do it for you. So that's awesome, and that's pretty cool. So riding around on Pokemon is not just restricted to the town that we saw, and it's not just restricted to Go-Goat, which is pretty sweet. So, next up we have the Pokemon and Me. And that thing to me, as I said earlier, reminds me of Kingdom Hearts Dream Drop Distance, and also reminds me of Nintendogs, because you're sort of like playing with your Pokemon and stuff. I really like that, by the way. I like the name, as I said, Pokemon and me. It's a nice little play on words, and it's actually feminine when you look at it, because in French, when you make something feminine, or sometimes you add "ni" to, well, not some, yeah, for most words you add "ni" to the end of it, and in French you can't have "ma ami" because that is for I think grandmother or something. So mon ami, or for the word ami, you have to always have mon in front of it, or unless you're saying it is a plural. I'm trying to give you guys a French lesson, probably shouldn't, but yeah, mon ami, it's French. It's French for my friend. So Pokemon, my friend, or Poke friend, I guess, is what it is. And that is awesome. So it's a great way to bond with your Pokemon. And I think it would be pretty cool if that sort of influenced happiness and stuff, as opposed to doing all the walking around and getting haircuts like you do in Gold, Silver, Crystal, Heart Gold, Soul Silver. So that, to me, is a great introduction, and it gives you like a personal bond with your Pokemon, which I really like. So that is really cool. And it's going to be awesome. It's going to be really cool. I might play with that a lot. I don't know. We'll see. But Pokemon and me, great introduction. And yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun. So there's only two more things pretty much for me to speak about. And that is the new way to do wild battles. That's right. We have horde battles, which is when a group of Pokemon come at once. And you can face up to 5 Pokemon at one time. So if you thought triple battles was a revolution, then I don't know what your opinion on horde battle is going to be, because this thing is insane. And it's not just restricted to, as you see in the trailer, you see a group of Houndour attacking Froakie, and there's also a picture of a group of Axew attacking Chespin. It's not just restricted to those, like a certain group of Pokemon. You can get like various Pokemon. You could have Tauros, Miltank, and Axew just say attacking you at once. You're not just going to get a group of Axew, like a whole Axew family or school of Axew coming to attack you. There's going to be other Pokemon, which is great, and that is really awesome. So that leaves one thing I probably should have I probably should have spoken about this earlier, but this is Sky Battling, which is for Pokemon with Levitate and Pokemon that can fly. I assume Pokemon that can learn fly will also be included in that, because, well, maybe not actually, because they would have to be flying constantly. So it could be just restricted to Pokemon that can fly, or are flying type, and can levitate. And yeah, I mean, that's a revolution, because that's taking Pokemon into the sky. I don't know where your like, I can just imagine the trainer being on the ground, like, shouting up to the Pokemon, like, Talonflame, use Brave Bird. But, I mean, it's really cool. I mean, I'm gonna enjoy that a lot, I think. And, yeah, that's pretty much it. That is all your X and Y news wrapped up in a nice little bundle. And I think that's going to do it for me. So remember, guys, October 12th is the release date for Pokemon X and Y worldwide. And it's just going to be fantastic. I'll be sure to keep you guys up to date with more news. But for now, that is pretty much going to do it for me. I'd like to thank you guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. And I'll see you guys for more shortly enough. So, catch you then.